Okay, so welcome everybody. We are talking a little bit today about a few different subjects this week. We're looking at our Ojas and our Agni and these things in Ayurveda, but really what they mean is the amount of toxic load we have in our body, right? And so we want more of the good things to come in our body. We want less of the bad things, right? So in Ayurveda, we have this thing called Ojas, which is like your pure primal, like that big nourishing energy. We only have 7 drops. It's big nourishing energy, but we only have 7 drops. But think of it as your deep energy reserves, right? And then we have a thing called ama, which is the buildup of toxins within our body. And you see that in the plaque on your teeth, you see it in your arteries, you can see it. It's just the gunk that we have within us. So one of the biggest things for getting rid of ama is to get rid of toxins. And so I have a special guest today, Kelly. Um, and Kelly Snyder, and she has been a hairdresser for over 40 years. And she owns her own business, has her own salon, and has just knows all things about hair. She does a wonderful job of being able to read a person and kind of really understanding that. But she's also a very strong advocate for not having toxins in your hair products and not be adding that to your toxic load. And we just lost her. So she'll pop back on here in a moment. But what we want to look at this is just making sure that we have really, because our hair, we think of it as being something like extraneous to our body, but really it is this living organism. And quite often it's our hair that kind of tells the story of what's going on in our inside of us, right? So if our body is full of toxic load and all of this, then it's going to show up on our hair and in our skin. So it's one of those, touch points for us to kind of notice. And if there's things going on, if our hair is, dry or we're having issues or scalp issues, that's quite often a sign that there's other stuff going on. But the same is true with what we put on our hair does access. So it's going right into the scalp, right into the area of our brain. And so super important to have what we need for that. Okay,
I
we're going to
had
pass.
computer issues. I'm sorry.
That's all good. I'm going to pass it over to Kelly, and she's
Yeah.
going to tell us a little bit about these new doTERRA products for the hair and really how to properly wash your hair and to look after that and what to do optimally to get your hair looking the best. It's one of those, I always think my hair is like, it is your accessory that you have with you all of the time. Right. So really important to, doesn't matter what, if your coat or your shoes or your belt or your handbag, those are all extraneous because your hair is with you everywhere you go. So it's super important to have that reflecting really who you are. Okay, I'll pass it over to Kathy.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you. When I'm being asked about why doTERRA shampoo, what makes the difference? Well, then, if I had to tell somebody what makes the difference, I'd say essential oils penetrate the hair follicles and increases the circulation, and it gives an environment for healthy growth. And that's really important when it comes to our crowning glory. And the benefits of essential oils increase the circulation, combat dandruff and itchy scalp, prevent oily hair, and it can actually relax and reduce stress as you enjoy the senses of the aromas. And it also known to balance your hormones and also thickens hair, penetrates the hair follicles, as I said earlier. And we are so lucky to receive this new hair care line from doTERRA. It's absolutely amazing. I don't know if you've tried it, but I sure have. And not only that, we want to, just like Krista was saying earlier, we want to make sure our toxic buildup, our toxic load is not actually going on our scalp, because that goes right into the bloodstream, and it's very important to nourish the body with healthy ingredients. And doTERRA is free of anything that is what I call the nasties, like sulfates, silicones, and parabens. And parabens are known to clog the follicles of the inside of the pores of the hair. And also, one of the key ingredients several of the key ingredients are peppermint, tea tree, eucalyptus, and spearmint. Peppermint boosts circulation and stimulates the scalp and increases that blood flow that's important to the hair follicles. And then tea tree helps prevent hair fallout, which we all want to hear about that. It unplugs the hair follicles and increases that hair growth. And it also has antibacterial and cleansing properties. Then eucalyptus stimulates the scalp again, fights, and it can help fight dandruff and improve hair elasticity. That means the strength of the strands when you pull them. If you pulled an individual one, is it weak or is it strong? And that can increase the strength. And also spearmint is antifungal and antibacterial, and it'll help itchiness and dryness and promotes hair growth and can help hair grow faster and thicker. And that's the one thing I'd like to talk to you about too, is there is a little bit of a, if you're not used to something very clean and pure, which is what doTERRA is all about, is their certified purity of the ingredients, is you can actually go through a little bit of a detox. So you might have a little bit of, peeling of the scalp, itchiness, but it's not severe, it's just gentle. And that's important because you're getting rid of all that buildup that you had there before. And let's just talk a little bit about the protecting shampoo itself. It's gentle enough to use every day. And it's also safe for color treated hair. Most people color their hair. I know I do. It softly removes any hard water, minerals, pollutants, and styling product buildup. The other thing that I thought was interesting, it's quinoa protein, which helps strengthen and protect your hair. And it's a better alternative for people with celiac or wheat sensitivities. And I love that it kind of actually gives the hair a cleansing feeling for several days if you're not used to washing your hair so often. And the daily conditioner is a real moisturizing treat. It preserves color vibrancy, rinses clean without weighing the hair down or and it also leaves the hair feeling soft and silky. And then moving on to the leave-in conditioner. It protects your hair from environmental damage such as sun and heat styling tools. It keeps your hair hydrated and nourished after washing. It's detangling as well. So if you get lots of tangles, which I sometimes do, it really helps remove them. And how I like to apply it is I spray it onto my hands. I know it has a sprayer, but I find if I spray it onto my hands first, then I just emulsify it around my fingers and then move it into the areas where I need it the most. Like for me, it's in the back and the sides. And then whatever's remaining, then I put it in those areas because you want to make sure that you're protecting your hair from the sun, the wind, the environment, anything that happens to come at your hair. And there's ingredients such as orange, lime, blue tansy, magnolia, osmanathus. Not sure exactly that, but it sounds interesting. It's an extract that locks in moisture and leaves your hair smelling amazing. And with application, depending on the thickness of your hair, I would suggest the size of a nickel for most hair. And if the hair is quite thick, then a quarter or a loonie. And I would also suggest 2 shampoos because the first shampoo removes pollutants and buildup. And the second shampoo deep cleanses your hair and scalp. And if you want to get a little bit longer lasting between shampoos, the 2 shampoos is what I usually recommend. And squeeze in the shower, squeeze most of the water out of your hair, then apply the conditioner. Wait a few minutes, then rinse with cooler water. The cooler water closes the cuticle And then it can increase the shine in your hair, which we all love shiny hair. Then with your spray and leave-in conditioner, you spray on the hands, like I mentioned earlier, and apply mostly when needed and style as desired. Enjoy the experience of the protecting shampoo, the daily conditioner, and the leave-in conditioner. You will absolutely love it, as I do. Thank you for listening.
That was
Back to
great,
you.
Kelly. Yeah, so lots of good little tidbits. So just to kind of summarize that one, so you put like a nickel amount of the shampoo and the conditioner, or up to a nickel
Yeah,
to a quarter type size.
depending on the thickness of.
Right, thickness and the length of your hair, right? And then the shampoo to apply it, we mainly just on the root area type thing as
Yeah,
you're doing, or do you go all through?
really want to cleanse the scalp. The scalp is the most important part of the washing process, because it's where you can produce sebum and oils and things like that. You want to invigorate the scalp. That's where the blood flow is, and that's where the hair growing experience will come from. And nourishing your scalp is going to make your hair healthy.
Good. And then the conditioner, you would apply it just to the tips as you're washing, or all through the hair?
You start down at the bottom, and depending on your hair length, all over if your hair is short. And I would only use the size of a pea or a dime if your hair's short. If your hair is medium to long like mine, I would go for nickel to quarter size, but then start at the bottom and then work your way up. I just use whatever's left over on my hands in the shower, just kind of up here. And then I work it through, all the loose hairs come out, and I just kind of pull it back and work it through. And then I actually put it up in a clip while I'm soaping up the rest of my body. So it has that few minutes to sit in there.
Right. Yeah, before you rinse it back off again.
Hmm.
Yeah, good. Anybody else have any questions for Kelly as to proper hair technique or things to use on your hair?
I forgot to mention that if you have a little more requirements with the hydration and dryness of your hair, you can use the root to tips, I think it is, serum. And I don't know if it's going to be something that stays, but hopefully it will. But it will just give you a little bit more moisture and protection in your hair, a little bit more moisture, so protection mostly. So
And that's an
that's
after you've kind of blow dried it and styled it
that.
type of a,
No, that's
or
just,
before.
I would put it on after the leave-in conditioner.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Good to know.
And then do your styling for sure.
And would you put that on your hands as well, Kelly, first?
Yes, I would use a pea size with that. Start with like, well, if your hair's short, I would use less, like fine, like if you've got fine hair, I would use as little as you can to start with. And then just, sorry, I'm just holding my phone, just emulsify it on the hands and then work it through. Kind of start at the back and then work it through that damp hair. But mostly make sure that your hair is not soaking wet, because that can dilute the product a lot. So towel dry a little bit, but never rub your hair with the towel. Always squeeze, or just place either a t-shirt or a microfiber towel if you have one, and just sort of hold it up and squeeze it. And because if you rub, it can be very rough on the hair, and it can rough up the cuticle and cause damage. So just start very small amounts. Yeah.
Right. Good. Yeah, and that was new to me too, to the conditioner, to squeeze the water out first before you put that in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
for sure.
and that same thing, just so you're not diluting it as much.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it'll just go down the drain. You'll just waste. It'll be a lot of waste. And that's the other really good point. There's so many points, but only so much time to speak in. Is I noticed that it's so concentrated, the shampoo. Like one of the videos I watched on the product, the gal was saying that you won't notice a lather. Well, I notice a lather. I don't know about you guys, but it literally lathers, and especially the second shampoo. So I would just be using small amounts, and I would perhaps in your details of explaining for your customers is I would mention that less is more, and
Mhm.
that it's very effective with less. And then so economically you're actually, it works out pretty even with anything that's your professional brands or generic brands of products. But conventional hair care products can be full of chemical toxins, and
Mhm.
we want to make sure that we are not putting that toxic load on our scalps and hair. So.
Yeah, and you've had a few instances where you have like the litmus test where you know immediately if a product has toxins in it that you'll get a reaction to it, right? So that's
Yes, and I
that's
definitely
good.
know that if we on the, where is it here? On the good, bad, and ugly scale, apparently the product is rating a 1 or 2, which is
Mhm.
really good because we want to make sure we're not like way up in a 5 or a 6 as far as the ratings in that. So I
Yeah,
also did a little research on that part.
yeah. No, that's good, right? It's nice to have that we can support that for
All,
sure.
all of them, Kelly, like the shampoo and the conditioner?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. All
okay,
of them. Yeah,
awesome, awesome.
yeah, it's exciting. And
Yeah,
I'm
it's
I'm
nice to
going
have that.
I'm going to promote it in how I'm going to promote it in my salon is I don't have one in front of me, but they're about the size of this stapler, only not so wide. They're not,
Yeah.
they're probably 2.5 inches or so, the little bottles with the lids. And I'm
The
going to
travel
make up some,
size.
yeah, I'm going to make up some labels. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe like 2 ounces that I'm actually going to just give away and let them try it.
Yeah,
So
just
that's how I'm promoting it, is I'm just gonna write it
yeah,
off and give it away and see what happens. So it's just a suggestion that you might want to.
yeah.
Hopefully they'll come out because remember they had the shampoo and conditioner samples for the other one. So
That would
hopefully
even
they'll
be
come out.
better.
Yeah, hopefully
That would
they'll
be
come out with
handy.
that.
Yeah, for sure.
It would.
Good.
Yeah.
I
But thank
find I find I really like the smell of both the shampoo and the leave-in conditioner, but the actual conditioner, I'm not so keen on the smell.
Well, apparently that one is still have peppermint, tea tree, eucalyptus, and spearmint. And then the leave-in one was the one that had the orange, lime, blue tansy, magnolia. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Mhm.
Maybe it's just because there's a little bit of a different viscosity with the shampoo versus the conditioner. I'm not sure if that experience is the reason why.
Yeah.
Maybe it's on there longer and you're
Yeah.
experiencing that.
No, it's just smelling it out of the bottle, which is strange,
Oh,
but I'll manage.
yeah.
And
A lot of people,
you
a lot
can
of
also
people
top it
smell.
up, right? You can
Yeah,
add something else to it. There's other oils that are good for hair that you could put in and then give it a good shake within your
Yeah,
blend.
yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
If you want to increase your hair growth, I would suggest, if you don't want the stimulant, I would suggest spearmint or tea tree as far as hair growth. And I actually, I want to find somebody who's got really fine, maybe sparse hair and say, here, try this out for a
Give it a
couple months
try.
and tell me how your hair grows.
Yeah, yeah. Other great ones like the blue tansy is great. And I love that they're pretty neutral, like they have no color to them, right, on the product, so that if you're coloring your hair, it's not going to be changing that. But if you do like the more ashy kind of look, the blue tansy is super good. That's in the leave-in conditioner. It's a really good hair oil. You can add that in and you get that little bit more of that ashiness to your hair. Citronella is
Absolutely.
another really good one for hair. I don't feel like if the smell of that is any better or not, but that's another one that can be. But there's so many
Also
you can look
cedarwood
at.
too. I actually
Mhm.
have in my notes here, I kind of did all that. There's,
Mhm.
and cedarwood can help treat different conditions, contribute to dandruff. Lemongrass can help treat dandruff. Tea tree oil, yeah, but we've got that in there. So there's a few things.
What
Also
about hair
lavender.
loss, Kelly? Did you find anything for hair loss?
Yes, I did, and it was It actually was peppermint, it was tea tree, it was spearmint, there was lemongrass and lavender and cedarwood, and then also clary sage.
Mm.
So I found that these I read up a little bit. I didn't want to overwhelm you with too much information,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
read up a little bit about those ones as being, you can look them up too, but
Yeah.
one of those might resonate with you. I know lavender sounds beautiful added
Yeah.
into, maybe you can add it into the conditioner, put it
Yeah.
in there, and or if you're having hormone issues, maybe clary sage is better for you.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
actually I'm actually using right after I dry my hair and get the conditioner in, I have in a small spritz bottle. It's blend of witch hazel and topped up with water, and I put in the clary sage, spearmint, lavender, and the tea tree. So these four, and I've been using it, and I just spray it on my roots when it's still wet, so it's easier to work it in. And you can add as well just a half a teaspoon of vitamin E oil, so it gives it a little bit more nutrition. But it's really nice for my scalp. I found that because it's more witch hazel and water, it's not heavy, because my hair gets really heavy, and it really nourishes. My hair has been much better thanks to that, even though it's just watery kind of thing with the essential oils. You really work it in, and it's just few spritzes to get it to your scalp, and that works great for me.
Oh, that sounds
Mm.
beautiful. I want to
And
try
it smells
that.
good. Yeah,
Can you post your recipe for that, Allie?
absolutely. Yeah, I can for sure.
Yeah,
And
that would be
you can sub the oils, right? Just something what works for you better. I just know this works for my scalp, because my scalp gets pretty dry and sensitive. I have very sensitive skin, and my hair is quite long, but fairly fine. So it gets kind of all greasy and limp if I use something heavier. So that's my other question for you, Kelly. I was just wondering. I actually started to not use conditioner like in a shower. I actually use in the leave-in conditioner instead of that, which I found is not making my hair to go greasy as fast. Is it something you wouldn't skip as a hairdresser, because it actually closes the hair follicle um, during the shower process, or um,
Yeah, actually, a lot of people don't realize this too when they shampoo your hair, and it does depend on the shampoo, and I'm sure doTERRA took this into consideration, is that it actually changes your pH when you shampoo the hair. So the reason why we want to condition a little bit or even rinse with cool water is that will change the pH back to normal, which is usually hair sits around on the pH scale around 5 or 5.5. So that could, have you tried the doTERRA conditioner and shampoo?
not the new one yet? No.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It absolutely will not weigh your hair down. You will find it
Okay.
is a super deep cleanse. And that's why there is a little bit of a sloughing off, we call it. And I'm like you, I'm super sensitive. I have like always have dry patches around my ears and flaky sometimes. And I did a little bit of that in the beginning with this shampoo, and then it stopped. And I'm really
Awesome.
pleased with the feel of there's no itchiness, because I can say as a hairstylist that even professional brands are full of toxins and full of things, adverse ingredients that at least give me adverse reactions. And people come to me all the time, I can't use professional products because they do this to my hair. And I'm like, yes, I understand. So in my salon, I try to stay fairly clean with products, and I'm always aware of paraben free and just educating people why your hair can be really weighed down and heavy. It's because of the parabens. It really is building up that toxic load and clogging hair follicles and causing hair loss and greasy scalp and everything, right? So it's something to consider, because I know that with this being so clean, I feel very confident with all my years of experience that I can highly recommend this.